Good morning, one and all. Federal Institute of Science and Technology, FDP, has marked a unique position in the professional education sector in South India. Established and run by the Federal Bank Officers Association Educational Society, with the motto Focus on Excellence, FDP is blessed with consistent academic results and excellent placement records every year. The institution is accredited by NAC with A grade, and 5 BTech branches are accredited by NBA. The Department of Computer Applications CUSAT, ever since its inception in 2006, is proud to present excellent results and placement records. Department is always keen to conduct workshops and training programs which would help the faculty members in the teaching learning process. Undergoing quality research will make teachers gain more insight and thereby improve their analytical skills. Research can help teachers to become more informed on their subject domains and thereby improve their own teaching. Today, we are about to start with another informative faculty development program on advanced research and quality publication. To begin with this enlightening session, let us invoke the presence of God Almighty. Let us all join for a silent prayer. Thank you. Dr. Debu Mary Matthews, the head of the Department of Computer Applications FDP, has been working hard to organize this innovative session in the best possible way. I invite you, ma'am, to officially welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Sanu. Yeah, a very warm good morning to one and all. Chief guest of the day, Dr. Vinod P., Professor, Department of Computer Applications, CUSAT. Program coordinators, Dr. Sujesh Pilal, Ms. Rosemary Matthew, faculty colleagues, and participants of the program. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of this one-week International Faculty Development Program on Advanced Research and Quality Publications organized by the Department of Computer Applications of CUSAT, Kochi. The FDP has been planned in virtual mode such that the research scholars or PG students or faculty from industries and academia across the world can take part in the FDP and share their research experiences. This FDP program covering the aspects relating to research fellowships, systematic literature review methods, the art and science of research paper writing, various software tools useful for doing research, and about the ethics in research and publication. All the sessions of the FDP is handling by eminent resource persons from premier academic institutions. It's a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome our eminent resource person, Dr. Vinod P., Professor, Department of Computer Applications, CUSAT. Aspiring for Marie Curie Fellowship, that is a topic handling by Vinod sir. Recently, he was awarded with the Marie Curie Fellowship for one of his research projects. He is a well-wisher of our department, and he used to collaborate with the department through various conferences and faculty development programs. On behalf of the CUSAT management and the Department of Computer Applications, let me extend a warm welcome to Vinod sir for leading today's section. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We have a very good response to this FDP. We have participants from UAE, Riyadh, Delhi Technological University, Haryana, and across India, which makes this FDP a truly international in spirit. Thank you all for joining with us in this FDP. And on behalf of this institution, I offer my regards to all the participants of this FDP. Welcome you all. Let me also welcome the FDP coordinators, Dr. Sujesh Pilal, Ms. Rosemary Matthew, and all my dear faculty colleagues to this FDP. We look forward to a successful training program over the next 5 days, and may this FDP will be beneficial for all the young researchers. Once again, welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I have immense pleasure to introduce the resource person for the day, Dr. Vinod P. Dr. Vinod P. is presently a professor in the Department of Computer Applications at the Cochin University of Science and Technology, Cochin, Kerala. He was a postdoctoral researcher at the Department of Mathematics, University of Padua, Italy, where he implemented the EU-ESH 2020 project named Target Smart. He was also a postdoctoral researcher at Malviya National Institute of Technology, Jaipur, Rajasthan, under the ISA project on mobile security. He holds his PhD in computer science engineering from Malviya National Institute of Technology, Jaipur, India. Recently, he was awarded the Marie Sklodowska Curie Fellowship project proposal for the organization-specific threat intelligence mining and sharing under the Horizon Europe framework by European Commission. He has numerous research articles published in peer-reviewed journals and international conferences. He is a reviewer of a number of security journals. Few to name are IEEE Transactions of Information Forensics. His research interests include cryptography, deep learning, information security, natural language processing, privacy, and a lot more. With immense pleasure and privilege, let me invite Dr. Vinod P. for leading us throughout this session, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible? Just to double check.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're audible. Yes, sir.
So thank you, the organizers of the faculty development program. Special thanks to the head of the department, the coordinators, Dr. Sujesh and other team, and all wonderful participants who have gathered online. I can see 208 participants online. So I'll share the screen and then maybe like we begin. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, can you see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So the topic that I chose today is like very close to my heart, and I will tell you the journey why Mary Sklodowska Curie. I had an opportunity to do my postdoctoral fellowship from University of Padua, which is the world's oldest living university, started in year 1222, like 800 years old university after University of Bologna. And I had an opportunity to meet many Nobel laureates as well as the Marie Curie fellows in the Department of Mathematics, where I was doing my postdoctoral fellowship because my professor happened to be a computer scientist who works on privacy in mathematics department. So then interacting with those researchers really influenced my life, and I was actually using pandemic as a positive aspect because the vulnerabilities in the human being were actually found out during pandemic, but during the but somehow we can use the digital technology. So today, for a couple of hours, we will be a request to all participants, like they can be muted. If at all there is a question, maybe we can take it at the end, or maybe you can, in fact, type in the chat because I can see some sounds. Sorry for that. So we will be talking today for another couple of hours for a topic on aspiring for Mary Sklodowska Curie Fellowship. And maybe like we are well versed who Mary Curie is. Like she has been awarded with 2 Nobel Prize. She started her specialization with mathematics, but then awarded a Nobel Prize for the excellence research in physics as well as chemistry. So we move on. So the first thing that I would like to bring to everybody is a very famous quote from Mary Curie herself, which says that you cannot hope to build a better world without improving the individuals. So now this particular thing, this saying actually is inspiring lot of Marie Curie aspirants and Marie Curie fellows worldwide, and who are like leading the very big positions in academia as well as the non-academia sector. So the entire summary is like, if we want to do something really better, it is very, very important to influence the life of others by improving their lives, by contributing in some way or the other. So, so this is what a Marie Curie aspirant, a winner of Marie Curie will actually cherish. So this is my evaluation from that. You can see that it is from European Commission, and 2021 onwards 2027, we have a new European framework which is called as Horizon Europe, or which is also called as Horizon. And previously, like for past 10 years, that is before 2021, it used to be called as H2020. So you can see this evaluative summary I will discuss later as well. Like you can see the call which says the MSCA Mary Skłodowska-Curie Action 2021, PF stands for Postdoctoral Fellowship. And the number of times this proposal was submitted in postdoctoral fellowship is indexed over here. The type of action, EF, I will talk about later, the proposal number, the acronym of the project. Every project that we write should have an acronym. And the duration of the project is 24 months. The maximum that we can have for a postdoctoral fellowship is 24 months. And for the minimum that we can actually claim is like 12 months. And the title of the project and the panel in which this project was submitted is called as engineering. So my host institution where I propose to do this fellowship, that is like for 24 months, I will actually visit, I will leave India and I have to visit University of Padua, Italy. So you can see the proposer's name and the total cost that is like that I claimed and I received from European Council is like around 1,88,590 euros, which comes around 1.58 crores. So it's a very, very good fellowship. The salary is exceptional high. And the percentage that you can see is like I scored around 94.80 in a scale of 100. But any proposal that is having a score of 70 is actually can be considered for funding, but it does not mean that if we get 70 we will be funded. So there will be a minimum threshold, so which we will discuss. So 70 is minimum. Okay. So 70 out of 100 is minimum threshold, and my score this time in 2021 is like 94.8. So what is MSCA, or what is Mary Skłodowska-Curie, and why should we aspire for MSCA? Okay. So MSCA basically is running lot of fellowships. So one of the prominent fellowships that we will be talking today is about the doctoral as well as postdoctoral training. So what is the expectation once we are actually trying to do this fellowship is like the European Commission is trying to have a researcher who is highly skilled. Okay, so this word is very, very important. So they somehow need a researcher who is highly skilled, but they tap some value to improve their skill set. Okay, so that is the first important thing. The second important thing is MSCA wants only those researchers who are interested to take challenges, and also the proposal they submit actually should have very big scientific impact. Okay, it should create an impact and give some knowledge to public as well as policy makers. So public is very, very important in the Marie Curie Fellowship. Citizens' well-being and whatever is done is for the citizen. And also the Marie Curie Fellow should demonstrate his or her capabilities to work across multiple disciplines, also should be able to actually show the capability to work against multiple sectors. So when I say sectors, so basically there are two types of sectors. One is academic sectors, like the universities where cutting edge research is performed. And secondly is the non-academic sectors, for example, some companies or hospitals or some funding agencies. So what is out for us? The budget that is allocated for the Horizon Europe for another 7 years is 6.6 billion euros. So it's a very, very huge amount they are investing. And then the beauty of this Marie Curie Fellowship is it does not discriminate any person who is residing anywhere in the globe. So anybody, like any one of us, can apply, but there are certain conditions. So let's look at some interesting features about the MSCA. So the first feature about an MSCA is like it is basically based on enhancing the training of a researcher. For example, like we draft a proposal, maybe the proposal, if it does not have a quotient for our training, okay, what training Vinod is expected to have in order to actually complete the proposal, okay, if it is missing in that proposal, it will be somehow rejected, okay. So the proposal should clearly emphasize on what skill set I will develop during training, okay. It should be measurable skill set. That means how much time is required for that specific training, how much money, which type of training, the career development plan, like after becoming an MSc, how do I aspire to become an MSc? How would I carry the flag of MSc worldwide and inspire others? Not by simply saying that, okay, I will be in academia. That is not really interesting. What we will try to do after we become, we take this MSc fellowship. One of the most interesting part of Marie Curie Fellowship or from other postdoctoral fellowship, because first half I will be only talking about postdoctoral and towards end I will be speaking about the doctoral fellowship, is a bottom-up approach. So for example, like I have a prior experience of two postdocs. One I took from the NIT Jaipur. So where I was actually given a project which was funded by Information Security Education Awareness, Government of India. So there is a project proposal that is already prepared by the principal investigator, and the postdoc or a researcher is expected to complete that. Okay, so that is what was the expectation. Okay. However, in case of a Marie Curie Fellowship, the proposal is primarily developed by the researcher. So it's a bottom-up approach. So the researcher has got a full freedom of writing what he or she wants, and then the researcher can actually implement it at any organization. Horizon Europe is like improving the aspect of collaboration, because I also do feel like learning from great people, collaborating with great people, seeing their scientific output, and then maybe like we reflect what we have learned is something very, very important. So what MSCA is looking for is the cross-sectoral interdisciplinary mobility. So cross-sectoral means, like if I write a project proposal, I should be ambitious enough to say how my proposal will be used in the academia as well as in the industry. As well as I should be able to clearly measure and say that how my proposal will be used in different disciplines. Okay, so it also has an attractive working and employment condition that we will be looking at, and the impact, structuring the impact of organization through excellent training programs. So there are numerous training programs, and as I said, it wants to bring in many industry as well as the startups in order to enhance the skill set of the researcher. So moving on, what is MSCA 2021? So what all programs or funding programs are available in 2021? So we have like 5 programs. One is the doctoral network. So in order to create good doctoral candidates, so somebody who is aspiring to do PhD from Europe. Okay. Second one is to build strong human capital in the sense of postdoctoral research, the staff exchange, the co-found funding training program, and the public outreach. So today, like I will be only talking in the interest of time on the first and second one. Primarily, like the second one and the first is almost same, because the condition, application, preparation of the drafting of the proposal, everything remains the same. So, what are the types of fellowships that are available in Marie Curie? Okay, MSc Action. So, there are 2 types of fellowship. One is called as a European fellowship, and another is called as a global fellowship. Okay, so there are 2 types of postdoctoral fellowship available. One is European, and the second one is the postdoctoral. And who are the beneficiaries? Definitely a researcher who is writing a project proposal. He or she can belong to any nationality. Okay. The host institution where the researcher is trying to relocate, and definitely the supervisor. Okay. So these are the 3 important beneficiaries. So if we talk about a researcher for a post-doctoral fellowship, it is necessary that the researcher should be awarded with a PhD. Okay. If not PhD, before the deadline of the application, the researcher should have defended his or her PhD thesis. The second important constraint or restriction that was imposed in Horizon Europe framework is 8 years of research experience. So that means if I have a 8 years of research experience, then somehow I am not eligible for the MSCA fellowship, because it means that I am already mature to take out the independent research. Okay, so what is covered in not covered in 8 years of research experience, we will discuss. Then the host entry, who can be a host? It could be an academia as well as a non-academia. And the beauty, I said, it can be done for all domains of research. There is a strict mobility rule, which is an eligibility condition, and one researcher is only entitled to apply 1 proposal per call. So suppose if I want to submit 2 proposals or more than 2 proposals, it is not possible. So only 1 proposal can be applied. So we will take each one of them in order to understand, and then we will look at how to write this proposal. So moving further, as I said, there are 2 types of postdoctoral fellowship. So one is called as a European fellowship. So when we write the fellowship, so the minimum time duration for the fellowship to be executed is like 12 months, and the maximum that can be of 24 months. So, and in case of global fellowship, you can have a minimum of 12, okay? Then we can do the fellowship for 24 months. So that means like this is flexible for the researcher. Plus 12 months of return phase. So we will discuss what these means. So let us look to the diagram that I'm showing on the extreme left side. So as I said, the MSCA is inviting or attracting researchers from across the world. So anybody who is aspiring to become an MSA should have a keen interest to move out from their country, like India, to a host institution in European Union. It is mandatory. Okay. So I will be moving from India. I will move to a country in Europe. Okay. And like I will be moving to Italy. Okay. Or so those are called as MS. MS stands for the member state and AC stands for associated country. We will look at which countries are there. Or there is an option that any person who is already residing in Europe, okay, say let's say I'm residing in a specific country called as Ireland, and suppose I want to do my postdoc at Italy, it is permissible. However, if I am in Ireland and I want to do it again in Ireland, that is not permissible. Okay. So anybody who is interested to move from a country in European Union to another country can also participate. In case of a global fellowship, like anybody who have shown their residence in European Union, okay, for some time, okay, they can leave European country and they can move anywhere in the world, okay, and then mandatory for global fellowship, after spending some time in some other country, they have to return. So an example is there is a particular researcher who have been doing research long in Italy. Now, what they want is they want to do a global fellowship. So they have to leave Italy and then they have to come back to India or some other country, spend some time, and then after that again go back to the host country, that is Italy, and then again do a fellowship for 12 months. So this 1 year return phase is very, very important in case of global fellowship. Okay. So what are the different panels? So you can submit your proposal in all these panels. So like chemistry, social science and humanities, economics, information science and engineering. So I have highlighted it because because I'm an engineer. So I submitted in this particular panel. Environment and geoscience, life science, mathematics and physics. So there are many, many doctors who are submitting. So in life science, okay. So you can see that anybody who wishes to aspire to do a very good research can actually apply for the MSCA. Now, let's look at the eligibility conditions. Okay, so the first eligibility condition is like we can only submit one proposal at one call. So in 2022, suppose if you are planning to apply, you can only submit one proposal. And for the postdoctoral research, postdoctoral fellowship, it is compulsory that we are in possession of a PhD at the time of our call. That means we would have defended our PhD thesis, or suppose like somebody is in the final year of the PhD, okay, they should clearly, and September, let's say September 12th, 2022 is the deadline. So their defense should have happened before September 12th, 2022. Otherwise, automatically the application will be invalidated. So while submitting, they will clearly ask us when we have done the PhD, and if we have not defended our thesis, they will ask us when we will defend the thesis. Okay. And as I said that if it is like 12th of September, then the defense should happen before 12th of September. The most important thing that has come as a part of the Horizon Europe framework is like they expect the researchers to grow and they don't want to attract any experienced researcher. So I will tell you who experienced researcher mean. So anybody who is having 8 years of research experience, okay, if they have more than 8 years of research experience, they will be their application will be rejected. Okay. So which also means that anybody who have got their PhD or they have been awarded PhD after 12, 10, 20, 2013 are automatically eligible. Okay. So anybody are eligible, but so this 8 years of research experience does not include. So you can actually subtract. So suppose like I finished my PhD in 2011 and I was awarded my postdoctoral fellowship in 2022. So if you count, it is more than 8 years, but still I was eligible. How? These many years will be subtracted. First thing. So a maternity leave of 18 months for each child that is born after the PhD award. So for example, so somebody having 2 children, so 36 months can be actually subtracted. Okay, and then you tell your research experience. Then second one is paternity leave. Okay. The third one is suppose somebody, I am a European citizen, and suppose I have been working for around like 10 years in IBM in India, and I now want to quit that job and I want to do the fellowship. So a researcher in non-associated third country and who is wishing to reintegrate in Europe. So reintegration means they were a part of, they are a citizen of Europe and they want to reintegrate. So how many years they have spent in India can be actually deducted. Some career break, okay, which has happened can also be counted while deducting the years of experience. Compulsory national service, okay, so how many duration I have served my nation, that can be removed. And one of the thing is like time spent not in research, for example, teaching. So basically I am a teacher since long. Okay, so I just have 2 years of my postdoctoral research, so that can be deducted. So basically, my research experience is only 2, even though I was a teacher. Okay, and somebody is having a long-term sick. So long-term sickness means anything that is greater than 30 days. So these are the the eligibility conditions. So one eligibility condition is like possession of PhD and 8 years of research experience. Now, the second eligibility condition is called as the mobility rule, which is very, very important. Okay, so which clearly says that the researcher should not have resided or carried out their main activity in the country of beneficiary. So that means if I am planning to move from India to Italy, then I should not have carried out my research activity in Italy. But there is an exception. So exception is before the deadline of the application, okay, if we count 3 years, okay, in the consecutive 3 years, I should not have stayed in Italy for 12 months. So if I am not staying for 12 months, then it means I am eligible. So starting from the deadline of application, we traverse back 3 years, okay, and whichever country I'm applying, I should not have been staying there for 1 year. So that is what is the mobility rule, okay. And the second one is like the associated partner for global fellowship. So global fellowship means that somebody who is residing in like Italy and they want to come back to India and they want to do the global fellowship. So it applies there also. So they should not have been staying in India for last like if we take last 3 years, in that they should not have been staying in India for 12 months. Okay, so this is the mobility restriction. Another eligibility condition is resubmission restriction. So which means that suppose in 2021, I have actually submitted a proposal, okay, which stands for with the acronym OPTIMA, and I got a score which is less than 70%, okay, and I'm planning to resubmit the application in 2022. It is not allowed. So there will be 1 year penalty. Okay, so I cannot submit the same proposal. However, I can submit a new proposal. Okay, so that is there. So anything that is below 70% is rejected. Okay, and so there is a a period of 1 year of penalty where we cannot submit the same proposal. Okay. So once we upload all these thing into the European Union website, then there will be an agency called as European Research Executive Agency. Their responsibility is to determine if the researcher meets the eligibility criteria. Okay, which means that they are PhD, they abide through the mobility rule, and they also abide through the 8 years research experience. Okay, so if all of these things are correct, okay, then definitely what can be done is like we can actually submit our proposal. Okay, so one of the beauty of the Marie Curie fellowship is like when I write a fellowship, I can think about two important aspects. One is like a country, a university where I will be doing a fellowship. For example, in my case, University of Padua, Italy. Other than that, if I feel that I want to learn more and I want to develop my skill set from some other universities, okay, in a span of 2 years, I can definitely apply for that, which is called as the secondment. So secondment is definitely an academic university. So like I will be doing 1 year, 4 years of research at University of Padua, and then for 8 months I'm going to Technical University Delft, where I will be working with a famous cryptographer. So that freedom I have. Okay, so I can go and do a secondment at an academic organization. If I feel that like I want to work with a company which is a non-academic organization, that is also possible. Okay. But in my proposal, I have to reason why I want to go there. Okay. And what skill set I will develop and how that skill set will be used. Okay. In my career development. Okay. So as I was informing about the secondment, so secondment is an optional feature. It is not mandatory. Okay. So it should be always an academic organization, and it could be done worldwide. So I can maybe in Italy, from Italy, I can come to India, maybe in some IITs or anywhere in the world I can do. It could be like the secondment also has an option of being in the academic and non-academic, but in non-academic they look for a very good IT organization. Okay, and if we are applying for a global fellowship, the secondment can be only done during the outgoing phase, and how much time we can spend in the other country other than host, it should be the 1/3 of the standard fellowship. So for example, 24 months. So 24 months divided by 3, that is the maximum time I can actually spend for the secondment in some other country. And when I'm planning to do a secondment, I need not submit a commitment letter from any other university that I'm going to visit. It is not mandatory. However, if I say that I want to do a non-academic placement, okay, it should be in a company should be either in the in member state. So member state is like you can say your all countries which are approved by European Union or some associated countries, okay, which have shown interest in participating in the Horizon Europe framework, and their approval is still pending. And non-academic can only be in the non-academic sector. So like we cannot do it in any university. And after the standard period of time, that is like, for example, if I submit a proposal for 1 year, I can only do my non-academic placement after 1 year. If I do it for 2 years, it could be after 2 years. Okay, for global fellowship, if it is 36 months or 3 years, it should be after 3 years. So, and the non-academic placement can be only done for 6 months. So you can work 6 months in an organization, and European Union will actually fund you. And only once only you can take non-academic placement, and it is mandatory that if I say that I want to work in IBM, Zurich, okay, let's say. So the host institution, that is University of Padua, which is my university, should actually submit a commitment letter saying that so and so from IBM will actually mentor the project of Vinod. So that letter has to be uploaded, otherwise it will be rejected. So this is an optional feature. Okay. Just to double check, am I audible? If you can just tell me, maybe either type in the chat. Am I audible? Can somebody guide me?
Audible, sir. Sir, you are audible,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. So, some more terms before we look at the proposal in terms of eligibility condition. So, eligibility condition applies to the researcher. Also, eligibility condition applies to the country where we want to pursue our fellowship. So the first one is the EU member states. So EU member states are already those countries and specific universities within that countries who have shown to be a part of the European Union framework. Okay, so Horizon Europe framework. And there are some other countries which is called as Horizon Europe associated countries. And these countries have shown an interest to participate in European Commission. The agreement is in the place, and you can see these are the countries starting from Armenia, Bosnia, and Turkey. Okay, because they feel that the type of quality of research that is done by the researchers in European Union can make a significant scientific impact and societal change. So they also have shown their keen interest. And there are certain countries like United Kingdom. So they also have shown the interest, but still it is in negotiation. It has not been approved. Okay. So then the third one is called as the third country. So any countries that does not fall under the European member state, that does not fall under the associated country, can be counted in the third country. So for example, Bangladesh, Malaysia, or so and so on. Okay. So yes, now we look at what is the benefit with MSCA. Suppose I am awarded the Marie Curie Fellowship. Okay, so what is the perks I will get? So I get a living allowance of per month like around 5,080 euros. You can multiply it with 86 or 85 today's amount. A mobility allowance, so that means from India, if I go to Europe, okay, so 600 euros for mobility and allowance, that means my rent will be like 600. If I have a family, my family will get 660 euros. Okay. And suppose there is some medical emergency when some researcher is doing fellowship and they require a long-term leave. Okay. So what European Union does is it will give us like 5,680 euros other than our normal perk, multiplied by the coverage of the beneficiary. Okay. And then special allowance if it is needed. Okay. Especially for the physically challenged people, they also give this. Other than the contribution from Europe, somebody has raised the hand. There is some question. Okay. Okay. Then the institutional perks means how much the host institution will contribute. So yearly, what happens is like we get around 10,000 euros for contingency, for purchase of minor equipments, for travel. Okay, so 20,000 euros. Other than this, it will you will enjoy. So for me, in my fellowship, I get around 1,89,000 euros. So which comes around 1 crore, 1.6 crore. So it's a huge amount for 2 years. Okay. So that is another beauty of this fellowship. So now, when we try to apply, when we submit our project in the portal, European Commission portal, which I will show you, so you can choose for the ERA fellowship. So ERA fellowship means that if suppose I am not awarded a MSCA, okay, and I opened my proposal by selecting a checkbox saying that all member state or associated country or the third country can see my proposal, and if they feel that my proposal is qualitatively very good, okay, my proposal can be submitted for ERA. So ERA means the proposal who doesn't make through the MSCA, or they are in the reserve list. Okay, they have proved their quality. So what they can do is they can still reserve funding from all these countries. Okay, so any of the top universities available in the member state and associated country can contact me, and and then they can say that you can participate in our organization and we will fund you for your research. Okay. So the budget that is allocated for the ERA fellowship is basically 8 million euros. So which is a very, very big amount. So how to apply? So we need to simply Google for a keyword like funding and tender opportunities portal by European Union. So you get a portal something like this, and then you can write here a specific call. There are many, many calls, but you can actually write Mary Skłodowska Curie action, and then you get a list of fellowship under Mary Skłodowska Curie, maybe a doctoral fellowship, postdoctoral, or co-found, or staff exchange, etc. Yeah. So what are we expected to be doing in this portal? So there are two parts in this funding and tender opportunity portal by European Commission. The first part is part A, which is a structured part where we are supposed to fill in our basic entries like what is my name, which organization I am presently working, where did I receive my PhD, so and so on. And the participants contact like host institution like University of Padua, who will be the contact point for me, the name of the head of the department, name of the supervisor, the name of the supporting staff along with their phone number and email address, and the budget that I claim I can actually post. Ethics. So if my project is actually making use of animals or human, okay, then I should actually have an ethical clearance, and that ethical clearance have to be uploaded. Okay, and there are certain call specific questions that we need to address. Okay. So then we come to part B. So in part B, there are two applications, part B1 and part B2. Part B1 is very, very important, and where we actually summarize our project. Okay. It can be only 10 page. Okay. Part B1 is the proposal. It is 10 page. Okay. And part B2 is like it doesn't have any page limit. Okay. So these two things we should keep in our mind. So let's talk about what we have to do in part B1. So as I said, part B1 is 10 pages, and it will be covering three different sections. So one is excellence, another is impact, third one is implementation. So the reviewers will be evaluating us on three different sections based on multiple questions that we will discuss in my subsequent slide. So excellence, and each of these things are rated in a scale of 5. So excellence 5, impact 5, implementation 5. So total 15, and then our score is decided. Okay. So in part B2, as I said, there is no page limit. So part B2, basically what we include is the CV of a researcher, the capacity of participating organization, like which country you want to move, the university name, the infrastructure, the quality of the supervisor, everything should be mentioned, and a commitment letter from associated partner for a global fellowship. So global fellowship means a person who was in European Union and they want to migrate to some other country, let's say. So, and also it involves the non-academic partners. So for that, a commitment letter should be uploaded saying that we are ready to have this researcher in our organization. So to sum up again, I'm saying that this part B is very important and it should have like 10 pages for the part B1 and the page limit for part B2. There is no page limit. Okay. So what is the criteria of award? So excellence, they count for 50 percentage. So 50 percentage is used for awarding. Okay. So in the excellence, they are looking for some specific things about in our project. One is like, what is the innovative objectives of our project? Then the second one is we should have a precise and clear picture of our proposed methodology. Then the third and the most important thing is the quality of supervision. So with supervisor you will work with, okay? So you have to clearly justify like your supervisor is strong in your field. The quality of training that you will get from the host organization, and the two-way knowledge transfer means that something I will through the training that I receive from Italy, okay, how I will use that training to give back to the university, okay, in terms of guiding PhD students or writing more European fellowship project that can be useful for Italian students, guiding master's thesis, all those, okay. And very, very important thing is the researcher's professional experience. So first of all, the applicant should have proved himself or herself as a mature researcher. He should have a visibility in the research community, okay, in terms of the competency and skills. So these four criterias are always kept into the mind of the reviewers when they actually review our proposal. And the reviewers are usually Nobel laureates, or they are usually MSCA, the people who are already an MSCA fellow and awarded with the fellowship. So, and it is a blind review. It goes to 3 independent reviewers for 6 months, and there will be a chairman, and then each reviewer has to come up for a discussion with the chairman for the final award of the marks. So the excellence part of the project is actually 50%. Second one is the impact. Okay. So the impact part of our project proposal is it is counted for 30%. Okay. So in the impact, basically the impact part of the proposal will measure to enhance the career perspective. Okay. So that means if like I am awarded MSCA, okay, how this MSCA will help me in future. Okay. So those things should be clearly written and it should be measurable. And another important thing is like in the impact, the project that we write, okay, it should show an expected outcome and impact to the government, to the public in general, to the university, the policy makers. So all these things should be actually put into the impact part, okay. And the third one is, as I said, like how this project is going to improve in terms of scientific, societal, and economic impacts. And the next one is the implementation part. So implementation part of your project is like 20%, where we have to clearly make a work plan. So which is called as work package description should be there. So to say that our project, like starting 2 years, we have to say in the first 3 months what we will do. I will show you through an example of my project. Okay, so the clear work plan should be there. And in this implementation aspect, we should also talk about the quality and the capacity of the host institution where we are going, and the participant organization, which could be an academic organization during the secondment or a non-academic organization during the outgoing part of our research. So this is how, like 100%. So excellence 50. Then we have the impact, that is 30, and implementation, that is 20%. Now let us talk about the evaluation process. So once the application is received, so the ERA, they perform the eligibility check. Okay, so they will look at the quality of the researcher and the budget that is allocated. And then what happens is this proposal will actually go for the evaluation. Okay, and this evaluation is basically done remote. So we are not called for any interview until and unless there are certain serious issues. Otherwise, it will be like done remotely. And this evaluation usually takes like it is like a 6 months duration for one project. And then after evaluation, then each of the evaluators or reviewers, they will submit their consensus report. And there will be a chairman, and each of these reviewers will talk about how much, what is the positive aspect of the proposal, what is the negative aspect, and all of them will award a mark out of 15, okay, which will be converted in a scale of 100, and then they may think about whether it can be awarded or not. Okay, so a panel will submit a panel report, evaluation summary report, and panel ranked list. Okay, so every panel will submit a rank list, and then the finalization of the rank list is actually delivered. So this year we are basically very late because you can see the deadline is 14th September 2022, but it's a very competitive and a very difficult process to be awarded an MSCA, because I have personally gone through it twice, because last year I got 87.8 working day and night. Then I submitted the same proposal by and still I was awarded last time, but I wanted to touch that 90 figure, and I was actually worked for all improvement of the research proposal. And then this year, like I made it to 98, 94.8, and the funding is also very good. So this year call deadline is like 14 September 2022. Evaluation will start immediately, so it will be between October to December. But to be very frank, it is not December, because this time we got the result by March. So it is not December. It will be actually 6 months. Okay. Then results will be finalized somewhere by 2023, and then the grant agreement. So we will have to sign the contract. The university signs a contract with the European Union, which will be like between March to April. The starting date, initial starting date for the project is April. So somebody from India should go to Europe and they should start by April, or the latest, the last date, maybe it could be like September 2024. So in my case, like I will be leaving to Padua somewhere by January, but the maximum I can extend is like September 2023, not beyond that. Okay. So now we will look at the drafting of the proposal. Sorry, this slide is crowded, but we will look at very, very important part which are highlighted. Okay, so this part B1 basically will contain 3 sections. Okay, so this 3 sections will be excellence, impact, and implementation, and it should not be longer than 10 pages. There are certain formatting conditions, like we have to make use of A4 size page, and the top, bottom, margins, it cannot be, it should be at least 15 mm. Okay, so in order to like write more, we cannot change the dimension, not possible. So, and in case of font, it should be Times New Roman for Windows and Mac, and for Linux distribution, it could be Nimbus. The size of the font should be 11. Okay, text, figures, footnotes, captions, all these are counted in 10 pages, references, everything. Okay, formulas, whatever we think of, it is counted. And if we are writing tables, header, footers, it should be not more than, not less than rather 8 points. Okay. So in excellence, we are asked about certain questions. So the first question we have to answer is about the objectives of our proposal, and we have to say whether our project proposal objectives are measurable and it can be verified. Okay, it's very, very important. Second is when we write a proposal, we should write in such a manner that whatever objectives we have claimed, it should be realistically achievable. Okay, we have to prove how our project proposal will go beyond the state of art. So we have to do a thorough literature analysis of the state of art, find out the gaps, and then propose something very new which will be useful for which will be of an interest to the European Commission, which is useful under UN sustainable issues, which will be useful for the society at the large. And then we also should say how our proposal is ambitious. So ambitious means like who would be really interested in my proposal, not the universities. Maybe can this project, can it be used by the government, the policy makers? Okay, some very big research organization. Okay, some military organization. So those things are kept into mind. So this is in excellence 1.1. We have to answer this. In 1.2, we have to talk about the soundness of the proposal. So when we talk about the soundness of a proposal, any proposal that we write, it should clearly talk about the interdisciplinary aspect. Okay. So for example, like my proposal was on cyber threat intelligence. So I have to think whether cyber threat intelligence can be used for the healthcare sector, can it be used for building a better smart city, okay, something like that. Okay, this has to be clearly written. If it is not written, our proposal is bound to be rejected. Then the next part is gender dimension. For example, if a male is writing a proposal, he has to respect female, and they have to clearly say that how gender will be addressed in my proposal. So how will I try to bring female researcher, or how I will improve the lives of females in my project. So that has to be clearly shown. And if we see that our proposal does not meet gender dimension, okay, it doesn't have to have gender dimension, then we have to clearly say, like, my project does not meet the gender dimension, okay, because of some issue. So we have to clearly say, okay. One of the very, very important thing that has happened in Horizon Europe framework is the practice of open science. Open science means that when I write a research proposal, okay, the output of the research proposal may be some scientific papers, maybe it is a tool, maybe a software. All these things should be available to the community without any cost. So, which means that I should say that my paper will be published in an open access journal. Anybody can download it. It could be available like in GitHub or some other open science repositories where people can actually read, and they can discuss with me, or maybe like they can in fact comment about what I am doing. Okay. So this is very, very important, because European Union it talks only about collaboration. Okay, so the how do we manage the research outputs? It should be clearly listed. The engagement of citizen, civil, and civil society and end users should be clearly listed. So whatever I'm saying, I have summarized in my next slide as well. So then in excellence, there is section 1.3, which talks about quality of supervision. So the supervisor is an integral person of our research proposal. So I will tell you what I mean by a supervisor. Can you see a web page? Can somebody say that they can see a Google Scholar page? They can in fact type in the chat window. Can someone see a Google Scholar page that I'm showing? Can somebody respond? If they can see, either they can write in the chat window.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So, okay, thank you. I'm going to work with Professor Mauro Conti, who is like a professor in University of Padua. And he was earlier student of Andrew Tenenbaum, somebody from computer science. They can easily understand, and you can look at the citations. So it is close to 20,000. Okay, H index of 67 and I10 index of 267, and he is an IEEE fellow, and he has his own research group. Okay, so a supervisor should be of a very high quality. Okay, so you can clearly see the quality of a supervision and the quality of a supervisor. Okay, so you can see his group, which is called as Spritz. He has an independent project staff, many postdocs. You can see numerous postdocs are there, numerous PhD, pre-PhD. So that should be the type of the supervisor. So you should, before you write, you should actually try to contact a supervisor who has created a good scientific impact. Okay. For my secondment, as I said, I will be visiting Technical University Delft. So I have chosen to work with Professor Zakaria Erkin, who actually is a leader of the blockchain community group in TechTU Delft, and you can see the citations. So this is actually somewhere around 3,200. So we should be very we should clearly choose our supervisor. Then the next part is about training. So we should clearly say that when I visit the country, what type of training I will acquire from both the countries, and after the training that I am using that I have acquired, how this training will be used to do a two-way knowledge transfer. That is the training. How can I use it at the University of Padua and for society as large? So in this, we should clearly describe the qualification of supervisor, track record, international collaboration, experience in supervising and training. So experience in supervising and training means we are only interested, the European Commission is only interested in experience and in supervising and training for PhD and postdoctoral. Masters, they are not interested. Okay, so we have to write something about our supervisor. Towards end, I will show my application so that you will be very clear with. Okay, so this slide I am leaving. So next one is 1.4, which talks about quality and appropriateness of researchers' professional experience and competency. So somehow we should be showing how skilled the researcher is. So anybody who is not having any research experience, or they have not done any research, they will not be entertained. They should show their research experience also. So for example, I should prove myself, Vinod should prove that he has got publication in very good journals. Okay, he has guided PhD, he has given talks, he's teaching very qualitative subjects, which is the need of time. Okay, so research existing professional experience and it is very important. Okay, so whatever I have told, I have summarized it, and if you are interested, maybe after this you can actually look. You have to start from the state of art. You have to identify what is missing. From that, you should find out the aim of your research, and then you have to list out at least 3 objectives. And for each of the objective, you should plan the methodology, and then you have to clearly think about the interdisciplinary aspect. Okay. Then you should look at the two-way knowledge transfer. That means from the hosting organization to researchers. That means from Padua, what knowledge I will take. Okay. And then from the researcher to the host organization, that also has to be clearly mentioned. Okay, and then the innovative aspect of the project, the professional experience, previous skills that I am having, and the new skills that I will acquire. So these are the guidelines that I think should be used to draft the excellence. So out of 10 pages, you can plan, okay, let's say 5 page I will be using for excellence, 6 page I will use for excellence. That you can plan according to your wish. Okay. So the second section is actually called as the impact. Okay. So in the impact section, what we are interested to do is we are interested to the reviewers will be only looking at these two things: expected skill development of the researcher. So when a researcher is going to a foreign university, what skills the researcher will develop? Okay. And then with that skill set, what impact the researcher is going to create, okay, inside and outside the academia. So for example, after this MSCA, I should be able to say that, okay, like I would get a tenure track position in foreign university, or maybe I would get a position at top IITs, okay. Why I have to say, or maybe like I will have my own startup, something like that, okay. So that has to be clearly mentioned, and you have to reason why. You have to give an answer to it. Then under impact, there is like 2.2. So in 2.2, you have to clearly explain like how your research, okay, covers dissemination and communication plan. So dissemination plan is always for a target group. So by target group, for example, we mean always the technical groups. So the scientific community, the financial sector, okay. These are called as the target group who are technical and they can understand what could be the contribution of your project. For example, mine was on cyber threat intelligence. So my target group is any security organization who is having an SOA, okay, or I should be able to say some network engineer, okay, or the policy makers of the country who are preparing the security proposals, okay. And then the next part is communication. So communication means the non-technical people, which means the public engagement strategies. Okay, so which means that it could be the people in general, so society, okay, who would be benefited out of your project in general. Okay, that has to be clearly specified. Okay. Then another thing is intellectual property. Can you generate some patents out of your work? Is there any design draft that will be design rights that you are going to have, copyright, trade? All those things should come under the impact part. Okay. So then scientific impact, when I said what are the scientific advancement, okay, across and within discipline, what new knowledge you are going to create out of your project, what new instruments you will try to make out of your project, what new computing systems you are going to make out of your project, which will be useful. And when we talk about the economic and technological impact, we should say how it is going to increase the efficiency, how it is going to decrease the cost, how it is going to increase the profit. All those things should be covered. And under the societal, you should be able to say through your project that it is going to decrease the carbon emission, it will decrease the mortality, it will improve the policy making, okay? It will increase the awareness among the people. So you can see that this part, which is the communication part, is like in general for the people community. So I have made a roadmap of what you should be writing. And when you write, how you should think. Impact, which is career perspective and employability, like once you do an MSA with your project, how your career development will take during your project and outside your project time, so after 2 years. Dissemination and exploitation. So dissemination, as I said, it will be always done to a scientific group. So who will be benefited out of my project? Okay. What is to be disseminated? Why I think that a particular sector, a healthcare sector, let's say, they will be benefited, how and when. Okay. So you should be able to find out 3 scientific groups or technical groups and try to, when you write, you should try to answer who, what, why, how, and when. Okay. Then communication is basically for a community at large. It is not for the scientific people, it is for the citizen. So who will be benefited? Okay. What benefits they will acquire, why, how, and when. And so when you talk about the impact, you should always think about scientific impact, societal impact, and the economic impact of your project. Okay. Then coming to the third and the last part of part B1, which is called as implementation. In implementation, you should clearly say how this 24 months will be used. First 3 months, what activities you are going to do. What are the deliverables that you are going to publish? Maybe a paper, maybe a software, okay? Or maybe you conduct a seminar, you go to school, teach cybersecurity to them. What impact it is going to create, what are the risks associated with your project. So COVID is basically a risk. So suppose you started with the project and then suppose there is a lockdown and you are not able to do you cannot visit the host organization or you cannot visit the secondment. So how do you come out of that risk? Okay, then capacity of the host institution and participating organization should be written. So I will tell you the blueprint that came to my mind. You should write the work plan. So you should create some work packages. So in the work packages, you should clearly say that how much time I will use for work package 1, work package 2, something like this. And from each work package, I should be having some deliverables. So deliverables in the form of the scientific paper, in the form of a creation of an instrument, in the form of a tool. Okay. So, or it could be some seminars that I conduct, okay, or some TEDx talk, something, okay. It should, or I give an interview at the news channel. So all those things should be listed, and you can have 1 or more deliverables. So I have written here 3, you can have 1 or more. And then you can say that, okay, so once all these 3 deliverables are over, so my first milestone is complete. So let's say your work package is for 6 months, and in the 5th month, all these 3, you feel that it is over, you can say that your first milestone is over. Then your work package, let's say 2 is for 6 months, and in the first 3 months, all these 3 deliverables are complete, you can say that milestone 2 is achieved. Okay. And then you will talk about the capacity of host institution risk that is associated. Anybody who is aspiring to write to the MSCA fellowship, I would request all of you, not even MSCA, any project that you feel that you want to write, it should be written with it should fall under some of the UN sustainability goals. So what are the UN sustainability goals? So there are 17 sustainability goals. So we should make use of technology to minimize poverty, to minimize hunger, to solve some issues that is related to good health and well-being of a people. We should make use of a technology and write a project for imparting quality education, something like this, clean water, life under the water, Okay, so when you try to pick any problem, so you should write a problem in such a way that it should be under any few of the UN sustainability goals. Okay, and then as a person who make use of technology, you should try to look at how technology can be brought about. Okay, now I will show my MSCA evaluative report. Then you will understand how the evaluation happens basically. And then in couple of minutes, we will close. So this is the evaluative report from the European Commission. The project acronym is written, then the host institution is written, and the evaluators, they will write the abstract about my project. Okay, so you can clearly see that my project is named as Organization Specific Threat Intelligence and Mining. What it is trying to do, it is making use of machine learning algorithm to effectively share the records of different organizations in privacy preserving manner. And why I feel it is important, because it is important because it can protect society, and it is actually a need of European Commission that I have written over here. Okay, then I should clearly say that who would be benefited from my project. It is the Security Operations Center, the Incidents Response Team, the operational leaders. I should list out. Okay, then where I will do my project. So it is written like University of Padua, whom with I'm going to execute like Professor Conti. And then what type of research question my project will answer. So I've said how efficiently can ML algorithms extract threat artifacts. Okay, how an organization can share threat intelligence. Okay, what are the specific objectives? So my objective is to develop a tool which can extract some threat records. Okay, find out novel compromise and build a system which is cryptographically proper. And then the evaluation result says that your total score is 94.80, threshold is 70. Under the excellence, out of 5 I got 4.60, which is like 50%. And first the evaluators will write about the strength of my project. So you can see the strength they mention is that the state of the art is well elaborated, methodology is sound, open science practices are well defined. Okay, quality of supervision is excellent. So which say supervisor has numerous impeccable credential, impressive track record. Researcher, so that they talk about me, so has a very strong technical expertise, corresponding adequate track records. Okay, well cited publication. So what are the weakness? So I should have got 5, but I got 4.6. What are the weakness? Success merit to measure and verify projects objectives are not suitably defined. Training in transferable skills is not sufficiently considered. So all three reviewers, they come under the consensus that I should be getting 4.6. Now, when we come to the impact, the maximum score was 5. I got 5. So 30% of this is taken. So what is the strength? The combination of exposure to world-class scientists. Okay. Employment opportunities are clearly defined. Training is clearly defined. Okay. IPR issues are clearly defined. Expected scientific, societal, and economic impact are clearly defined. Implementation, out of 5, I got 4.7. The proposed work plan is well defined. Active contribution of beneficiary is well defined. Capacity of host institution is very good. And risk and weakness is risk and management plans are not properly addressed. So put together, and then I get this. I would like to show you something very, very important. Even if I get 94, it is not compulsory that I would be funded. So if you look at the European panel last time, under chemistry, the cutoff was actually 92.8. Economics, it is 92. I applied in engineering. The cutoff was 92.8. Mine was 94.8. Environment, it is 93. And so on. So you can look at how competitive this is. In case of global fellowship, so it is between like 83 to maximum is like 96. So this is cut off. Okay. So anything that is above will be funded. Okay. So this is the proposal. As I said, you write something. You can see there will be a header. Okay. And at every proposal, you should ask some research questions. Okay. The references should be written as the footnote. You can see the state of art. So my state of art was comprehensive. So I wrote like 2 pages of state of art. Then how my project goes beyond state of art, we should clearly write. And you are not supposed to use the words like would. You have to show confidence. So you will say my project will, I will, something like that. So you can see that I will implement a novel adversary resistant threat intelligence framework employing cryptographic tools like homomorphic encryption, secure multi-party computation, differential privacy, and federated learning. Then your work packages. So how you will be going to solve each of your objective: data set collection, which is my work package 1. Then threat intelligence, identifying industries, privacy preserving, all these things. Interdisciplinary aspect. So I said that interaction with scientists of agronomy, mechatronics, industrial engineering, medicine department will be included to understand device connectivity. Okay. So gender, so I said women represent 20% of global cybersecurity workforce. To close gender gap, significant improvement in networking with women is needed. Even though my research is not gender sensitive, I will organize a workshop to bring women from academia in an industry. So you can actually write something. Okay, so open science, I have written I will use open netware, publish videos on YouTube, papers in archive, GitHub, all those things we can write. And when you talk about your supervisor, you have to write everything the best about supervisor. So training. Okay, so now I will come to the most important thing, which is like work package, which I will show you towards end. Yeah, so you should prepare a Gantt chart. So here you should write year 1, year 2. So my proposal is of 24 months. So work package 1, I said data set description, which is like 1 to 6 months, where first 5 months I will do literature review, I will design a tool data set, and 6th month I will submit a paper which is deliverable 1.1, and I will say that my milestone has been achieved. Work package 2 is for my training. So I said that I will study, I will take a course on MISP from SANS, which is like 2 months. Then I will study advanced topics in computer security, which will be 4 months. And then I will do some work, and then I will publish one paper, which is like my milestone 2. Then I will go for my secondment to Delft, so which is shown over here, what activities I will do, which paper I will publish or tool. Okay. Then I will come back to Padua. For citizens, I will do some science lab. Then I will go to school, give some lecture, high schools. Okay, I will write certain blogs. So all those things, so which will actually culminate my work. Then after you are a winner, you get a certificate from European Commission. So which would be actually in the name of the supervisor, and they will say that your grant is prepared, your project number is done, and they will associate for 2 years a project officer from European Commission. And then I would share this with you, which is a guide which talks about how to prepare this. Okay, so like 5 more minutes, and then we will actually stop. In terms of doctoral fellowship, any student, any scholar who is who has started pursuing or applied for doctoral fellowship in Europe, they can look for it. Okay, so any nationality, any person, same mobility rules for postdoctoral applies over here. The program can be of maximum 48 months. Okay, 1/3 the student can go and study in some other university also if it is requested. So the fund that is allocated is like 427 million euros, and the eligibility is like 80%. So any proposal that is less than 80% will not be funded. Okay, so the perks is living allowance 3,400 euros, mobility allowance every month 600 euros, family allowance 660 euros, and other than that, every month institute will contribute so to approximately 2,800 euros, which also, if you put together, it also comes close to like 1 crore. So with this, I close my lecture for today, and I would consider all of you to look at the Marie Curie Fellowship and aspire to become a great researcher. So I can quickly take some questions if you have. Thank you. If there are certain questions, there are feedbacks, please do ask.
Thank you, sir. It was a very informative session. The participants can come forward to clarify your doubts and ask some questions, if any, to Vinod, sir.
Maybe you can also type in the chat. Maybe I can read it out and then I can answer.
Doubt.
Maybe the name, who is this?
Sir, I'm Sony. Sir, if we have two Google Scholar profile, then how can we merge it?
You are asking something very orthogonal to my question. Maybe like uh, I feel like I should not be answering it because there is another speaker for tomorrow, that is art of writing review paper. I feel like they will say, but I would restrict my questions to my topic, because I feel I wouldn't be doing justice otherwise.
Okay, sir.
It is not that you cannot merge. Uh, I was for a couple of years I was in other organization. Then I changed. It is not that I merge. Maybe maybe we will keep specific to the MSc action. It's a request. Okay.
Hello.
Yes. Maybe
Am
your
I
name.
audible, sir?
Yes. Very well.
Sir, myself, Pradipha Varghese. So my
Yeah.
doubt is regarding the archive submission, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, when we submit the paper in the archive, whether it will be count for the plagiarism when we start submitting to the journals?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Usually, archive papers in some Q1 journals are considered as plagiarized, but I would appreciate submitting in archive because you are practicing open science and you get a feedback from the scientist. Even I do. I have many papers in archive, and I'm planning to submit on some journals. But before we submit in the journal, make some changes, and then if that paper is accepted, you have to actually report to the Cornell archive about your new publication. That is mandatory. You have to upgrade the version.
Okay, sir.
Uh,
Sir,
okay.
I have done one archive submission. When I
Yeah.
start submitting to the journals, they are showing the plagiarism of 82%.
Yeah. That is what I'm saying. Some journals they will not consider archive. Some journals will actually they have no problems in taking the same articles of archive and putting it. Okay. So for example, like we submitted one paper, one master's thesis in archive, and I submitted it to computers and security. They said it is plagiarized, so we have to rework on it. Okay. So it is journal to journal basic.
Okay, sir.
Okay. But one thing we have to do, like After
Is there any list of journals under the archive submission list?
that I cannot tell you, and I'm not even knowledgeable about it, because there will be no comprehensive list like that. Okay, there will be no comprehensive list.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any more questions are there? I can take.
Any other questions?
I can wait for some couple of minutes. If there are questions, I can take. Maybe you can, in fact, write in the chat.
So one question in the chat box.
Yeah, so there is a question, a wonderful question rather. Is there any agency besides EU to guide in these procedure? Yes, there is a very famous agency. I will put it in the chat. One minute. It is called as the first thing what we have to do is when we try to apply for Marie Curie, we have to actually look for the national point of contact. So every country will have a national point of contact. So, and then whatever I am delivering today, it is my experience through some workshops that I have attended during the Marie Curie Fellowship. And there is an agency called as Eurasics. Okay. So the link is already pasted. So all events that are happening related to the MSCA in whichever country, whichever national point of contact. So India will also have a national point of contact. So since I applied in Italy, there is a national point of contact in Italy. So all training programs, everything will be actually shown in the national point of contact. So you can actually directly contact the national point of contact, and their website is comprehensive basically. Okay, so you can have it from them.
Any other questions? As we have come to the end of today's session.
There is one question. Siddharth. I didn't get you. Who is this Soti? I don't understand. Shabrinath. Shabrinath. You can unmute, and maybe if you want to. I'm not very clear with the first line. The second line is clear to me. Maybe the first line I would like to hear from you. If you can, if the organizers can help him unmute.
Good morning, sir. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, very well audible.
I was just trying to get how you first got in touch with the professor at University of Padua.
Okay. Because you wrote Soti, I did not get. Yeah. So I'll tell you, like, since I did my PhD from NIT Jaipur, so I had applied I was a speaker for the Gyan program at MNIT. So Professor Conti, I shared the stage with him, and then we were there for like three days, and I discussed about what I am doing. Then he told me about the possibility of a PDF with him, postdoctoral fellowship with him. Okay. So then I wrote some proposal, and then it was evaluated, and then he took me. 1 year I worked, and then I came, and then I applied. In general, if you ask me, like recently one of an Indian from BITS Pilani, and she is also working with him. So what you can do to impress such professors is, first you should show your contribution towards research by publishing in a very good journal, and then your area should be close with which professor you are contacting. So since he is working on privacy and security, so it was easy for me. Okay, but you should show your quality as a researcher, publishing in very good journals. Then it is easy for us to get. And recently, one faculty from Christ College, Bangalore, he also get a position. He also got a position with Professor Conti for postdoc, and he is applying for an MSc next time. So, but we should have papers, couple of papers in Q1, Q2 journals. That is mandatory for such professors. Sabrina, did I address you properly, or you want to know more?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any more questions? I can answer.
Sir, is there any limitation, minimum criteria of the SCI journals to be apply for this Marie Curie award?
No, not at all. Not at all. There is basically they look for the visibility of the researcher. I feel like I have seen researchers with citation index of 500 also getting the fellowship. Okay. So numbers does not count. I feel like in terms of publication also we have to show. In terms of like collaboration with some foreign people or university, and also some talks at some places. Okay. Number is not important. Number is not important.
They will count the impact factor of the SCI index.
Yes, impact. And also they also look for one thing. When I was doing a training, so one of the reviewer he said like they also look for whether we have a paper with the professor whom we are applying. That will add a value, they say. Okay, so if we can prepare a paper with a professor at international university, okay, it will add value to those.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any more questions?
One more question. Sir, hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes. Yeah,
sir,
please.
Just one question, sir. You have told that first time when you applied, you got 70 around points. Second time,
No. First time I got 87.8,
okay,
and I was awarded Seal of Excellence from European Commission. What Seal of Excellence means that European Commission has a budget. They allocate the budget, but because of COVID, they had to freeze budget. They could not allocate to it, but to me. But then what they do is they contact the university. So the university gave me around 1 lakh euros for my fellowship, but because of COVID and mobility restriction, I never wanted to go, so I reappeared. Okay. So
if you apply for, suppose if you want to improve our points, what all area we should focus on?
Yeah.
That means how we know which area we should.
I'll tell you. So any proposal that we submit, okay, we will get a evaluative summary report that I showed you. Okay. which will be evaluated by 4 independent reviewers based on excellence, impact, and implementation. They will write our strengths and weaknesses. Okay. And in the next year, suppose we want to reappear submitting the same proposal, provided it is above 70%, you have to clear all negatives that are written, because they will ask for your previous evaluative summary report, and it will be read by the new reviewers also. Okay. So everything, like when we write a journal, they ask us many questions, no? So all questions we have to answer. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any more?
As we now come to the end of today's session, on behalf of CUSAT, Department of Computer Applications, and all participants here, let me extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Vinod sir. Sir, your session would be enlighten budding researchers and lead them towards quality research and preparing for fellowship. Thank you, sir. Let me thank all the participants for your active involvement and looking forward to meet you all in tomorrow's session. Participants are requested to mark the attendance in the form shared in the chat box. Thank you all and have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thanks organizers and
Thank you,
everybody.
sir.
Have a nice day. Thank you.